This is Hannah and Cailin, back again with Double Talk. I'm Hannah. And I'm Cailin. And we're here at the Tribeca Film Festival's 2023 premiere of the documentary Transition at the 19th Street AMC Theatre. Transition follows Australian filmmaker Jordan Bryon's changing life as he reports and lives in a rapidly collapsing Afghanistan, soon into his transition as a trans man. Jordan's journey becomes more complex when he's granted exclusive access to a group of Taliban fighters, right as the radical, deeply sexually segregated army is taking control of the country. As his relationships with these men deepen, Jordan questions the friendships, and his transition continues as the country rapidly changes around him. A meditation on the binary, this documentary film explores what it takes to feel at home in our own skin. I really like the description of this film as being a meditation on the binary. I think that's very interesting. Can you tell me more about what that means to you?
We wanted it to be a meditation on the binary, on war, on peace, what is to be a man, what is to be a woman. And I'm a conflict reporter. I'd never met someone as extraordinary as Jordan. You know, reporting in these war zones with through the non-binary eyes, I just think it's really interesting. And I hope the world can, you know, push towards that more.
I mean, the film is about so many things, and I'm just so excited for the audiences to see the depth of the storytelling that Monica and Jordan put together. I'm so proud to be part of this film and to support them. You know, they're incredible filmmakers, and I'm just happy that we're here at Tribeca.
I mean, my entire existence, I feel, is non-binary. I mean, technically, I'm a trans man, but I bring with me a lot of experience of being a woman in the world, whatever that means. I don't even know what it means to be a man or a woman. I'm just Jordan, really. Yeah. But, like bringing these two different experiences together to tell stories, I think is a really great way to be. And I think all men should be more like women, and all women should be more like men, and we should all just be like a beautiful mishmash.
There has been a greater saturation, I think, of LGBTQ plus stories told in the media in recent years. There could always be more, but I feel like I've definitely seen more, but this story is truly one of a kind. I mean, even just reading it, I've never heard anything quite like this. What perspective or lesson did you take from your time in Afghanistan that still is kind of at the forefront of your mind to this day?
I mean, I think the reason that we were really motivated to make the film in the first place was to bring a totally new perspective to an LGBTQ story, right? Like, okay, the character is trans, but he's also living a very human experience that is also beyond being trans, right? Like, a lot of the ethical dilemmas that he goes through are connected to being trans, but then also many of them aren't. Like, there's a lot of stuff about just being a journalist and having to build relationships with very complicated people that we may not like or agree with. And it's a lot of confusing stuff that we go through. And so telling an LGBT story, but it's also universal.
Being a woman and going to conflict areas, there's always this it's a very macho world, right? It's always like men and this idea about, and they would often ask women, like, what are you doing here in a place like this? I'm like, well, I don't know, what's anybody doing in a place like this? And for me, what's really interesting is the bravest person I know is Jordan, and I think redefining courage is really cool.
Every scene, every single moment, every single frame in this film is layered with complexity and depth, and I think I'm a different person after having worked on it. My perception of the world is different, my perception of humanity is different, and it really plays on so many different levels.
I feel like there's been kind of like almost an opening of dialogue in recent years where people aren't just have their heads down doing their work, right? Like, they feel more open to talk about the things that they believe in and the things that matter to them. And obviously I've kind of been able to do that through your work as a journalist, like you're telling other people's stories. But how do you both see kind of like the overlap, if there is one, of what you want to say as a person and your work?
I mean, I think that's a great question. Look, I mean, for journalists, we're never the story, and we're trying to report from an objective place where we're almost like erased, right, as human beings. But I think what's cool about documentary is that we can explore a lot more. And I think Jordan's internal journey was almost more interesting than what he was filming.
I'm not a trans activist, I'm not a queer activist, I'm a story activist. And for me, there is absolutely no gap or difference between me and my work. All of my personal values are in my work?
For me, I like letting my work speak for myself. I'm not a big on-camera person. I don't love doing this right now. You know, I'm a filmmaker for a reason, and you know, I think my films generally, hopefully, say something. And you know, I've always tried in my career to take huge, complicated subjects and to try to humanize them, to try to put a human face to them. And obviously, in this project, I was just an executive producer, just supporting them. But similarly, you know, this is a very complex issue that I think became deeply personal and deeply human.
How do you think people are going to feel leaving the theater today after seeing this film?
I think deeply moved. You know, I hope many things come out of this film. I think, you know,
it is complicated, like you said.
It's complicated. Obviously, it's deeply personal to Jordan. But I also hope that, you know, having made a film about Afghanistan, that this film, you know, reignites a conversation about this country that we left behind and these people that we left behind. That's obviously a big aspect of what this film is about, too.
The film explores what it takes to feel at home within yourself. This feels like a major leg of your journey. Obviously, that's something that I feel like we never stop learning, how to feel comfortable living in ourselves. How are you feeling now, though?
Can you beep? Fucking great.
Yes!
Fucking fantastic.
Perfect.
Being trans is awesome.